It's true, the Peugeot 309 wasn't designed with the idea of being a star on the track from the start, unlike its little sister, the 205, right from the beginning. Plan to have a Grand Touring injection version? No, the 309 has a slightly more twisted story, a bit like a poorly marked country road. But when the 205 Grand Touring injection started to become a hit, Peugeot thought, why not give the 309 a boost? As a result, starting in 1987, the compact from Poissy was given a sporty version. Then an even more radical version, the Grand Touring Injection 16, with the engine from the 405 Mi-16. Two cars, one badge, but very different personalities. So today, let's go back to their stories. When the 205 Grand Touring injection arrived, it won everyone over. A bit like a rock star stealing the spotlight from everyone else. Compared to it, the Volkswagen Golf Grand Touring injection seemed almost too serious, too German. But the 205 played in the City Car League, while the 309 aimed a segment higher at the compact cars. So, Peugeot decided to beef up its 309 to challenge the Golf Grand Touring injection, while still keeping a more mature, responsible, but hurried character. The 309 Grand Touring injection is kind of the car that wants all the thrills of a sports car and the practicality of a family car. Less flashy than the 205. It just has discreet red trim on the sides. A red Grand Touring injection logo, of course. And 15-inch wheels borrowed from the 205 Grand Touring injection. A 1.9L inside, though, it's a bit austere. And as for the finish, the plastics could have been found in a Lada, and no one would have been surprised. The 309 Grand Touring injection's mechanics are largely borrowed from the 205. The front and rear axles are almost identical, but with a longer wheelbase, the 309 gains in stability, whereas the 205 could make you sweat quite a bit. For rookie drivers who lose the rear end in the middle of a turn, the 309 is more stable, more reassuring. Even though the rear axle can still surprise you if your ego is stronger than your driving skills. Powered by a 1.9-liter, 130-horsepower engine and weighing 930 kilograms, it's not a powerhouse, but still a pleasure to drive. The power steering, which was absent on the 205, makes maneuvers and tight turns much easier. And then, there are the durable brakes and the truly impressive handling. Especially since it benefited from a specific rear suspension with torsion bars optimized for a better balance between comfort and handling. A feature that set it apart from other GTIs of the time. Basically, it's a car that knows how to behave, but it can bite if you push it a little too much. Launched in February 1987 as a 3-door version, the 309 Grand Touring injection quickly became available as a 5-door first for a Peugeot Grand Touring injection. Here, they're clearly targeting young parents who want some fun without sacrificing space for the stroller. Reliable, consistent, fuel-efficient, with excellent road handling. On paper, it has everything to please, including a well-positioned price. And yet nothing works. The car pays for its design, considered bland or too similar to the 205. Its convoluted numbering is probably due to Peugeot's lack of communication about it. However, the brand is considering giving it more horsepower. The solution starts with a turbo, and yes, you might not have known about it. And yet the 309 Turbo did exist in a very limited number of units. The idea was to push the Grand Touring injection concept even further and to provide a competition base for the Peugeot Talbot Sport department, the famous Peugeot Talbot Sport. They added a turbo to the 1.9-liter engine from the 205 Grand Touring injection to achieve their goal. 180 horsepower on the Cup version, the racing version, and 165 horsepower on the road version. A few examples raced in competition, while about 10 Peugeot Talbot Sport kits were sold commercially to motivated customers hungry for sport. Today, there are still a few examples left without an official price, because few owners are willing to part with them, while most enthusiasts don't even know they exist. But the turbo project was quickly abandoned, and another, simpler path was chosen. They put the engine from the 405 Mi-16 into the body of the 309 in July 1989, thus creating the 309 Grand Touring Injection 16. This time, we're not joking anymore. With the engine, a 1.9-liter 16-valve from the 405 MI 16, the Grand Touring Injection. 16 spits out 160 horsepower that's 30 more than its little sister. With 975 kilograms, that gives you performance that pins you to your seat. 220 kilometers per hour top speed, 28.5 seconds for the standing kilometer, and an agility that requires real driving skill to tame. A car for true purists, especially since some 309 Grand Touring Injection 16 models were optionally equipped with a Torsen limited slip differential. A rare advantage for the time, which improved traction when exiting corners, especially on wet surfaces. It's a car with character, reserved for drivers who know what they're doing, but the problem is the price. 107,500 francs for the 8-valve 3-door version and 121,200 for the 16-valve in 1990, which is equivalent to 31,000 and 35,000 euros today with inflation. In contrast, the 205 Grand Touring Injection 8-valve was 20,000 francs cheaper. No wonder the 309 Grand Touring Injection had a hard time finding its audience. Torn between the 205 more fun and affordable and the 405 MI 16 more prestigious. Not to mention the competition. The Renault 1916S, with its 140 horsepower and a price of 110,000 francs, had a more modern image and was more appealing. Towards the end, in 1993, the strict anti-pollution regulations forced Peugeot to use catalytic converters on their engines, which caused a drop in power: 122 horsepower for the 8-valve, 148 for the 16-valve. But at this point, the 309 Grand Touring Injection was already in the shadows, eclipsed by the imminent arrival of the 306 S16, which was much more attractive. In total, between 1987 and 1993 only, 18,262 Grand Touring Injection 8 swap-up and 5,896 Grand Touring Injection 16 were produced. Compare that to the 294,514 units of the 205 Grand Touring Injection, to the 46,000 of the 405 MI 16, or to the 88,000 Renault 1916S. And you'll understand why the 309 Grand Touring Injection is still a well-kept secret today. A car for purists, those who know that a good sporty compact isn't judged only by the number of units sold. And do you have any memories with the 309 or the 309 Grand Touring Injection? Tell me in the comments. Don't forget to share, like, and of course, subscribe. Subtitles 501.